AO Tribe. Shelley Merrell here. I'm here doing my very first mentor session. I'll be answering some questions that were submitted, and I'm hoping to help you guys along. So bear with me through my very first one. Our first question comes from Jocelyn Padilla, and she said, "Hey, Shawn and Mentors, I'm looking to get feedback on my elevator pitch. Thank you. Elevator pitch is, do you struggle to honestly communicate your wants, needs, and desires to your partner? Have you experienced anxiety due to fear, inexperience, or lack of confidence in the bedroom? Looking to spice up your love life, improve your intimacy with a partner, and at a loss of where to begin? Navigating the exciting yet often misunderstood world of sexual intimacy, pleasure, and self-care can be overwhelming. It doesn't have to be. Adventurous Aphrodite focuses on fun, frisky, and factual-based workshops, private group coaching, and passion parties for the curious adult. We give you the practical tools, knowledge, and resources in a non-judgmental space to help you unleash your inner sensual goddess. Not sure why you got God-des, but we'll talk about that later. Embody the confident, authentic, and sexy self you have always dreamed of." So Jocelyn is wanting to know about her elevator pitch, and that was her elevator pitch. What I learned when I was learning my own elevator pitch is there are 4 elements, because you want to keep it simple. Like, it literally is an elevator pitch. If you were to step on an elevator and you have just those few seconds until you get to your floor, you want to be able to say what you do quickly. So all these questions are great, but that would be after they start asking you questions. What I would recommend, based on my own elevator pitch, well, mine is integrated fire and safety provides comprehensive fire protection to responsible building owners to ensure compliance with authority. So you want those 4 elements in there. That would prompt somebody to actually ask more questions. So in this particular case, I would think it would be something more like Adventurous Aphrodite provides a non-judgmental space for curious adults. To provide the practical tools and knowledge and confidence to find your sexy self. It would be something quick and under 30 seconds. And again, mine is integrated fire and safety provides comprehensive fire protection to responsible building owners in order to ensure compliance with authority. So something simple like that. I hope that helped, Jocelyn. Okay, our next question is from Kelly Killingsworth. He is asking, he said, "Is it finally time to make a smart decision to move out of California? Do I move now before I'm too invested, or grind it out? I own a construction company and am moving towards heavy equipment operators. California is not getting any better. I feel it's going to get worse tax-wise and going to get difficult to maintain or even grow a business. And I feel I could possibly be more profitable in another state, say North Dakota, for example. I don't want to buy expensive equipment and then make decent money only to give 54% of my earnings back to California. Business-wise, to grow into 7 figures, California doesn't seem safe to do so. Please, mentors, shed some guidance on this subject." Well, given that I live in California, I can tell you from my experience, I know exactly what you're going through. That decision is very, very personal. It depends on Do you have a solid customer base already? Are you just starting out? Um, Basically, anywhere you live is going to be, the expenses and cost of living is going to be relative to where you are. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. I personally am concerned about Prop 15. I'm hoping that Prop 15 does not pass, because that's going to increase our property taxes by quite a bit, from my understanding. So I am hoping that that one doesn't. I've thought about moving away too, but I have too solid of a customer base here. We've been in business here for 30 years. So it would be really difficult to go somewhere else and start up. We've got different regulations and whatnot. So it really depends on what you want. If you are close to the ocean and you feel you need to be by the ocean, as some people do, then you might not be happy living in North Dakota. It's very personal, and so it just kind of depends on what you're willing to give back. That would be my advice here. Okay, the next question comes from Francesca. I'm sorry if I pronounced the name wrong. Nicasio. The question she asked is, how do you deal with possibility of your employees, contractors stealing your customers? Business description is she owns copywriting business and always hiring freelancers to deliver on content projects. I sometimes worry that they might approach my existing clients and offer to handle their content needs for less. Okay, so I have a little bit of experience in this. I had an employee quit my company and went to work for a competitor, and he took our company list, our customer list, with him and was hitting up all of our customers. Luckily, we have some very loyal customers that clued us in onto what was going on. And I ended up I contacted my attorney first, who then contacted that employee and his new employer and threatened to sue them. And the reason for that is because when he started working and signed the agreement in his in the employee handbook, there's a non-competition clause in there saying that you will not take our intellectual property and that it's our, it belongs to us and whatnot. He ended up groveling quite a bit and basically begged me to not sue him, which I didn't sue him. I just wanted it to stop. He swore to us. He shredded the customer list. And, we'll see. I haven't heard of him doing any more solicitations at all. So I don't know if it stopped. I think it did. But if you were to hire somebody and you entrust them with your customer list, which is your intellectual property, if I was hiring them, I would highly recommend having a non-competition clause signed by them. And also, I'd go to an intellectual property attorney, or maybe your attorney might have this information, but I would have a document drawn up that specifically states that the customer list belongs to you and that they're not allowed to do that. That's what I would do. And hopefully that helps with that one. Okay, my next question comes from Michael. And Michael, I know you, but I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your last name right, so sorry. Pliley, Michael Pliley. The question he asked is, how do you know who to hire next? A service manager or a salesperson? His business description and background is, we've taken a big hit this year. I need both positions, but I need more sales to keep a service manager busy. Where can I find a salesperson and make sure they're a good fit for my team and my needs? Could it be possible to find a person that could do both positions until they only fill the service position? And he owns a air conditioning refrigeration company and is servicing restaurants. So working with Shawn, as long as I've worked with Shawn, I would say that he would definitely say you need sales first, because you do. You need sales if you want to be able to pay that service manager. But at the same time, I understand that having processes in place and organization and somebody comfortable in that position also will help with going out and doing those sales, because then you know you can fulfill that need or that service. It's a hard one, because it's kind of like, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? So I completely understand. And I'm sure there are many people who could possibly do both positions. It would just be a matter of interviewing them, seeing what their resume, their references, seeing what they've done in the past. You'd need to just really look at that, and some people are not good at sales. And so you wouldn't want to hire on somebody who's a service manager who can't sell anything. And so I get that. What we do within AO is, there's a company called the Culture Index, and Samit taught us a lot about putting the right person in the right position and filling the role with that right personality. It's really a mind-blowing process, and I highly recommend that you look into something like that to be able to not waste a whole lot of time in figuring out who might be the best fit for either of those positions, or both, or maybe that one person will fit both roles. But exploring a way to determine if they will be a good fit is very important. But back to your base question, you have to have sales in order to pay a service manager. So I got to side with Shawn on this one. It goes back to sales. I hope that helped you. My next question comes from Eric Blandino. Hi, Eric. Question. I love the idea of doing something fun with our team for 2 hours during work time once a month in the form of leadership games, escape room, etc. Is this something to be done monthly, bi-monthly, or quarterly? And he is a rat exclusion service company up north. I'm very familiar with Eric. What we've done in the past is we've always done our, what I call IFS days, quarterly. We do them quarterly. And what I normally do is we'll work the morning shift, just kind of organizing, cleaning stuff up, taking care of the shop, special projects or whatever. And then we'll do something fun in the afternoon. I typically provide lunch and then do something. Now, the one thing I will caution you about is I had a silly idea one time to take everybody to go play volleyball on the beach. Well, one of the admin ladies got knocked down by one of the technicians on accident, hurt her knee, and I ended up having to pay on a workers' comp claim, even though she had previous trouble with that knee. And I didn't force her to be there. I didn't force her to play. But Eric, I know you're in California, so you got to play by the same employment laws. So just be really, really careful about that, because anything you offer out to them can come back on you. So I would highly recommend consulting with an HR consultant or even an employment attorney in your area. But it is really great for team building. We still do a quarterly IFS day. We just don't go anywhere and do anything. So what we do is we have our lunch, we have our morning session, and then we have our lunch. And we will do stuff like play Pictionary, or we'll split each other up on teams, play Pictionary, compete against each other. It really builds a lot of camaraderie. We laugh a lot. That's just a great game to get everybody communicating and working together and whatnot. But that's just what we do. So I'm anxious to see what you end up coming up with. Okay. Next question is from Lisa Nitkowski. And again, I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong. I'm not great at that. What is your advice to me if I want to start a business and I know what I want to do, but I'm procrastinating? I'm currently reading as many books as I can in regards to taking the leap and getting my business going. However, I'm wondering how to put the elements together to actually getting started. Where do you start? What comes first? What are the steps? Where's the blueprint? As so many of you have successfully started and run companies, who better to ask? Thanks in advance. Well, Lisa, it all kind of depends. I would be asking myself, why am I procrastinating? First and foremost. And then I personally would start off with checking in the location you're in. Does your city require a certain license? Does the industry require a certain licensing? Do you have to have certain requirements like that? That would be my starting point. Have you decided if you want to be a sole proprietor or an LLC or a corporation? If you want to be a corporation, then I would recommend getting a business attorney and getting that process started. Branding. One good thing that you could do, or what I do, is I use a lot of sticky notes, and I'll list individual things that I need to do and put them on a wall and then start getting them into order of priority. I would say with most businesses, the business license is the very first step. And then from that point on, you can keep asking questions in here and we can kind of help you along with that. But every business is different, and there is no real blueprint per se that I know of. But I would start with looking up what is required in your area. Okay, the next question comes from Joe Nugent. Question: how do you determine how much to pay your salespeople? I own a home inspection and home watch company in Naples, Florida. And the elevator pitch is I work with people buying a home to inspect it prior to closing to ensure that the home is safe and all system and components are working properly. I also work with seasonal residents to look after their slice of paradise. Hi, Joe. How do you determine how much to pay your salespeople? I can tell you what I do to determine how much to pay my technicians. I have a spreadsheet that I use that will actually go through and we determine how much is workers' comp, how much is the employee taxes, how much do I have to pay to have that employee work for me. And then that would determine basically your labor burden. And then on top of that, then you could add your profit and overhead. It's oftentimes 10% profit, 10% overhead, so 20% above what you're paying to have that person work for you. So it's going to take a little bit of investigation. There are several ways to figure out labor burden. But you are talking about a salesperson, so I'm not sure if you're talking about working just straight for the straight commission or if you're looking to actually pay them a salary. If you're looking to pay them a salary, I would go through and figure out that labor burden, because you definitely want to know how much it's going to cost you to have them working for you in order to make sure that you're getting your overhead and profit covered. That would be my recommendation. I hope that helped. The next question comes from Lindsay Grifka. Hi, Lindsay. Should I buy an email list or continue to research and create on my own? Her background is she's been creating an email list of smoke shops, both online and brick and mortar, with the help of her sister. It's a slow process, but by doing it this way, I ensure the companies I reach out to carry other brands rather than just their own. I would use the email list to send cold call emails to see if the brand is interested in carrying my product. Thank you, Lindsay. The first question I would ask in determining whether or not I want to buy an email list is, number one, am I having good luck in finding 20 to 25 really good possible clients to call per day? Have I already gone through all LinkedIn and figured all that out? How much is the list going to cost me to buy? That's just a decision you're going to have to make. I'm not sure how much you're wanting to invest into this kind of email list, and how the email list you and your sister have been putting together has been helping you. So it just kind of depends on that. If you're getting a lot of really good quality leads, then I would keep on doing it without putting any money into it. But if your resources are kind of drying up, it may be time to invest and buy an email list. And I personally have never bought an email list, but a lot of people do, and there is value to that. I hope that helped. Okay, another question from Michael Pliley. Question: if you were selling to restaurants, what kind of marketing or sales would you do to gain sales? Sorry. And again, this is air conditioning refrigeration company that's servicing restaurants. I do sell to restaurants. They're not my favorite. My experience here in California, and I'm not sure if it's the same across the country, restaurants have been extremely difficult to collect from. So we actually steer away from restaurants. But if you're wanting to target restaurants, then again, I would start up, doing your search. Or what kind of marketing or sales would you do? I haven't marketed to sell to restaurants, so I may not be the right person to inquire this from. I would recommend Shawn or Tom Black on this one because they know the tricks of the trade with sales, and that might be the better alternative route there. Okay, then next question. Oh, I got another question from Lindsay Grifka. Question: should I use we or I on my website? I have read conflicting info on using we versus I. Some say to use we to appear more legit when starting out, even though it's really only me working on the business at this point in time. Some say to use I to really connect with your customers and potential customers. Please shed some light on this for me. Thank you, Lindsay. Just thinking about how I address things here. If I am talking to somebody about the company and promoting or trying to do sales or whatever, I personally always use the term we. If I'm dealing with a problem and say I've got an angry customer that has a complaint or something like that, that's when I always use I. Because I like to take responsibility for the things that go wrong and assure them that I'm going to take care of them. Now, another way to look at this is with you being a woman-owned small business, you may possibly want to use that I more often just to kind of mm, reiterate the fact that you are a woman doing this on your own and it's your company. So again, it really goes to a personal choice, but that's what I do. So anyway, that is all of my questions. And I am not seeing the chat very easily on here, so I'm not going to try to address any chat things here. And hopefully I've helped you guys out, and I look forward to seeing you next month with more questions. Have a great day.